Good morning, my loves. It is day 3, and I want to congratulate each and every one of you guys for making it to day 3 because I know the first week here is very challenging in a lot of different ways. It's challenging mentally and emotionally because we're starting to work on habits that we're trying to break and change. And we all know and understand that when we've developed habits, whether they're over months or years, they're very difficult to break. When it comes to habits more on the mental and emotional level of things, it takes some time and it takes support. And that's what this group is meant for, is to be able to support one another, help hold one another accountable during this challenging time, because everybody deals with emotions and stress and habits differently. Everybody has a different support system at home or lack thereof. So I really want to encourage you guys to use this group for that support and to encourage and support one another, help motivate one another. When you reach out and help somebody else, it makes us feel good personally. And when we have that feel good moment, our body will naturally release endorphins, which are the feel-good hormones in our body. They're the feel-good, happy chemicals. And the more often we develop good habits and help somebody else, and the more often our body releases these hormones, the more it's going to get used to it and crave that. And that can just really change our emotions and mindset in general, which is going to make changing any habits a lot easier. So again, I know it's really challenging this first week, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. So talking about a little bit detoxing. Detoxing, again, deals with our bodies changing on a few different levels. And we all think about the physical level, but we don't think about the mental. And I touched on this a little bit. Changing habits sometimes, yes, initially it deals with our bodies going through certain chemical changes, but part of that breaking habits also deals with routines that we've gotten ourselves into. We get up, we make that coffee, we get ready, and we're out the door so quickly because we slept in with our coffee that we get to work and we have our routine that we do, and we forget about breakfast or we forget about snacks. A lot of us skip lunch. When we get stressed, we all have our own habits and routines, whether that is going for a cigarette or reaching for snacks or coming home and curling up on the couch and throwing on our favorite TV shows instead of making a healthy dinner or getting a workout in or even a walk. A lot of us get so caught up that we work through lunch instead of doing something healthy like going for a walk. So I want to challenge you guys a little bit to think about your days and what habits and routines you're currently in. Do people at work always bring in donuts and things for conferences where every time you have a meeting, there's all this food in front of you? So I would encourage you, if you know that ahead of time, to bring in a glass of water, a water bottle, bring in an apple, or bring in your snack and start getting into that routine. We adjust very quickly to routines. So if you can just start to change little things like that and change your routine and habit, that's going to make things a lot easier, and that's going to start to stick and become more natural. Now, I want to talk a little bit about detox and what our bodies physically go through. When it comes to detox, a lot of times it deals with what we know as sugar. And sugar is actually part of our carbohydrate in our bodies. We get sugars from a lot of different things, and a lot of them are our pops, sodas, candies, chips, things like that. You guys are already well educated, I'm sure, throughout the years on what is in sugar, ice cream and cookies and all those good snacks that we enjoy. And I want you guys to, as a homework, kind of look up a little bit on WebMD is a good basic website for everybody, but to look up sugar detox and do a little bit of reading so you guys can educate yourselves a little bit more than what I'm going to educate you here on in the next few minutes. When we eat things that have sugar in them, like the donuts or our ice cream and all those sugary type things that we have, a lot of times our kids' foods have a lot of sugars, graham crackers and a lot of crackers in general that kids eat. Those have sugars too, so kind of watch out for that. But our body goes through a real quick spike in sugar and glucose. Now, glucose is something our body needs, just like proteins and fats. A lot of people think of carbohydrates when they think of glucose, but our bodies actually, a lot of our organs and our energy depends on having glucose in our bodies. And we want to try and keep that glucose level straight, even throughout the day. We don't want those spikes, and you experience those when if you guys have had that morning or afternoon kind of low, you eat something, or when you don't eat something and you feel real tired and fatigued. That is low glucose, and that is because you skipped a meal, you skipped a snack. But when you eat sugary foods, you get a real quick spike in that sugar, in that glucose, and then you get a real quick down. So that, just think about that, up and down. That really affects your energy levels, even your mentality, your ability to think and process information. So think about how or times that's affected you during your work days. Our fruits and vegetables also have sugars, and that's why, especially in the 21-day fix, there are limited fruit in our diet. A lot of us, if you're like me, I used to load up on fruits because I thought, hey, they're at least healthy. And if we have to have 5 servings of veggies and fruits, I'm going to go for fruits because, heck, they taste better. There's a reason they taste better. They have sugar. But what they also have in them is protein, and they also have fiber in them. So that helps level out that quick spike in that glucose compared to sugary type foods that don't have fiber, that don't have protein and some of that other healthier stuff, and that's why you get that up and down spike. So sometimes that's why we recommend, if you're really trying to detox, use fruit, but within moderation. Follow your 21-day fix meal plan and the recommendation of how much fruit. So I usually recommend not having fruit after 2 or 3, but if you're one that needs that in the evenings just initially to help fight that craving, try to go for fruit as your go-to sugary craving type things. And again, like anything, it's a habit, and you'll get used to changing what you eat just by habit. So we've talked about a little bit that sugar, that up and down, that high spikes there. But also that sugar affects our nervous system and our brains. It triggers certain chemicals without getting into details, but just understanding that sugar is absorbed everywhere, and it is transferred through neurological impulses and uptakes up into our brain. So then our brains associate that good sugary taste with a good feeling. So whatever it is that we were just doing right before we intook that sugar, our brain is going to remember that sugar, that good tasting stuff, and it's going to associate with what we were doing at that time. And that's why it's very challenging for people to break habits. And that's how people can easily fall into unhealthy habits of reaching for the wrong foods during the wrong times. So I want you guys to know and understand there is a physiological process. So when you get headaches, when you get stomach aches, that's okay, that's normal. Think about all that sugar that you have been putting in on a daily basis for how long. It's going to take a little time, a week or two, for some of that to detox. But then the second part is up here, both literally and mentally, and breaking some of those habits in our thought processes. So sometimes we have to tell ourselves, write things out, put Post-its somewhere, find a new habit to replace another one. And this takes time, and that's the whole point of this group, guys, is to start building healthier habits. So I want you guys to take a look at your day, and I want you to post below some of the unhealthy routines that you guys notice that you do throughout today. And I want you to then just make one suggestion that you could change in your daily routine, whether that's adding in a water bottle or going into a meeting and taking something else in there so you avoid eating something, or putting in an extra stretch walk break, or going for a walk during your lunch break instead of staying and working, or maybe just going for a 10-minute walk before you eat your lunch. Get those endorphins, those feel-good hormones, chemicals going in your body so you're in a better mental place to be able to make better decisions. So I hope that helps. Again, put your assignment in the comments below and also put any questions. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.